Hi everyone and welcome to the Book Refuge, and it is my birthday week. Yay! So for this video, and since I'm going to be gone on my birthday, I will be in Colombia. This is one of the videos I'm pre-filming. I was thinking about what video I wanted to represent my birthday and what I wanted to talk about in a special birthday video. So for me, I really thought about like what I love most about Booktube and about reading books and about the people that I read about in books and just what makes me super excited to read a book. And for me, that came down to a couple different things. I really love relationships. I do love all kinds of relationships. But obviously my favorite thing is romance. And so one of the videos that I want to make more often, I actually want to do this video quarterly. And so I thought I would start by doing it for the spring quarter. So this will be for the first 3 months. And looking back on all the romances I've read so far, which I've read about 80 of them so far. Yes, I know. I wanted to do a video for my birthday about my favorite couples. And I believe that I did this back when I was doing Top 5 Wednesdays, like 2 years ago now. And I wanted to pick couples from books I've read recently and talk a little bit about them and like what makes them like a couple goal to me and just why they all just bring a smile to my face when I read them. And it's all for a lot of different reasons. Some it's because they're super sexy. Some it's because they just understand each other in ways that I want to understand my mate someday. And others it's just because they're fun. So I think I have 7. Yeah, I have 7 couples I want to talk about today. They're not in any particular order. This is going to be, like I said, a video I do quarterly. And then at the end of the year, I will do like a ranking list, kind of the way that Thoughts on Tomes does. I really love when she does her ship videos. And so these are all kind of like ships that I have and people that I really loved these first 3 months. And also it's a birthday video. So it's a video for me. So here we go. Let us start with Jaime and Wesley from the Him and Us books. So these books are by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy, and I've talked about them a lot in other videos recently. This is a hockey romance, which I never thought that a couple from a hockey romance would be on this list. But these two guys, they've been friends since they were young, and when they are teenagers, they are these like coaches at a hockey camp, and they end up getting a little drunk and having a bet, and they go a little too far, and one of these guys realizes he's gay and he doesn't want to pressure his friend into that, and so he runs away and never talks to his friend again. Well, not never. For like 5 years he doesn't talk to his friend until they are both in the minor league hockey circuit and they end up having to play against each other. And all the feelings come rushing back. Now, Jaime, he's been living normal life, having girlfriends. He's had a girlfriend for a while. And then he sees Wes again. And he's mad at his friend for not speaking to him anymore. He didn't have a problem with what happened with them, but Wes had realized that he was gay and has been living as that. And they just have this crazy chemistry together, and their relationship picks back up, and they're only going to have it for the summer, but they realize they can't live without each other. And so I really liked this duology. It recently just had a little like short novella come out about their lives later on. And there's also another series about some friends that we meet in this. But the reason these guys are on this list for me is I feel like their communication is really good. I love the friendship that they had, because this really is like, this is a friends to lovers situation. And it was the first like male romance that I read where I knew what was happening going in. I know that sounds weird, but it's just true. And it really started me down a track of like finding some really rewarding relationships that I wouldn't normally have read about. So they are strangely on my favorite couples list, and it's strange for me. And I don't care what that makes me sound like. This is a new kind of area for me, and I found that I have enjoyed it, and I really loved reading about Jaime and Wes. Next, I gotta talk about Dominic and Rosie. And guys, this book. So they are from the book Love Her or Lose Her. This is the second in the Hot and Hammered series by Tessa Bailey. And this is about a married couple. And they've been together, besides like married and together, since they were teenagers. Dominic is a Marine, and he has been on several tours, and he came back a little bit different, like a lot of people do. And him and Rosie don't communicate very well. There's a lot of love between them, but Rosie is left feeling separate from him and is left feeling unloved because they are speaking different love languages and are not communicating properly. And Rosie is ready to leave him. And he begs her for another chance, and so she agrees that they can try therapy. And she picks the most ridiculous therapist that she can, hoping to give him to give up. But Dominic is not ready to lose her. He's ready to go for it. And I absolutely love that. I love that he isn't ready to just give up. And I love that they are willing to figure out how to communicate with each other and be there for each other when the easy thing would be to give up and either never try again or try again with someone new and start fresh. Because it's painful to see how you've hurt someone that you love and that your inattention or miscommunication has ruined something that was once beautiful and everything you ever wanted. But I think it's even more realistic and amazing that they're willing to fight for it. And this couple really speaks to me because I don't know if I've like shared this, but my parents got divorced when I was 19 and got remarried to each other when I was 21. My parents were divorced for 18 months and got remarried because they realized that there was no one else for them and that they just needed to work through their issues and not just give up. And so, yeah, that's a reason why Dominic and Rosie are couple goals for me. They didn't let it get all the way to divorce, but they were close to it. And I just really, really love them. And this is also a pretty steamy book. Both of the books in this series are, but I love Dominic and Rosie, and they are one of my favorite couples so far this year. And ooh, I love them. I love them. Next, I gotta talk about Reich and Daisy from the Calloway Sisters series. So this is part of a whole big series that I've only recently finished. I won't go into this all again, but anyway, this couple specifically, their love story starts in the second book of the Calloway series. So the way Calloway series works is there is one about Rose and Connor, one about Reich and Daisy, one about Rose and Connor, one about Reich and Daisy. And then there's this other series called the Addicted series that like fits into it like this, that is about the third sister named Lily and her love, Lauren. And then there is a sequel series. And Reich and Daisy, we have been watching their chemistry for the last like 4 books. This is an age gap romance, and it's not like a huge age gap. It's just weird because of how it starts. So they first meet when Daisy is 15 and Reich is 22. And Reich is busy with life, and he notices Daisy, and Daisy is like has the hots for him, but obviously that's a no-no. And he, very purposely is like, I'm here to be kind of like an older brother figure to you, because he's in her life because of reasons. I won't like ruin it. But he's really focused on helping his younger brother, who is like the same age as him, but like his younger brother, deal with his alcoholism, and he is not looking at this 15-year-old. But through the books, we watch them grow together. And when Daisy is 18, she's a model, and Reich has been there for her through a lot of things. And she actually has PTSD because of some things that have happened. And Reich was to the point of actually like either sleeping on the floor in her room or sleeping in bed with her to keep her from having night terrors. And there was nothing sexual going on, but he is someone that she depends on, and she doesn't realize how much until she takes a modeling job in Paris during Paris Fashion Week. And she gets humiliated there. They tell her that she's fat and ugly and just all the things that can happen when you're a model. And she basically gets like left naked backstage of this place. And so she has a really, really bad night, and she calls Reich, and they're just talking, and he decides like he's had enough of this, and he's, you know, waited till she was older, but she's the only one that he wants to be with, and he wants to protect her and love her and take care of her. And so he flies to Paris to be there for her. But he flies there with her sister's like husbands. So so they fly there all together, and Reich can't say to his brother that he's in love with, you know, his brother's sister-in-law, who is only, you know, 18. But so then they have kind of like a secret relationship for a while. But anyway, that's the setup of them. And I love them so much. Reich is amazing. He has a horrible potty mouth. He says the F word like every other word, and they always tease him about it. And Daisy is fragile, but so strong. Their love story is so beautiful, guys, because the beautiful thing about the Calloway and Addicted series, and the beautiful thing about Krista and Becca Ritchie, is they keep giving you more and more of these people. And so we're with Reich and Daisy, again, like from the time Daisy's 15 till when she's 18 and their relationship starts, until in one of their epilogue books, we go all the way with them until they're in their late 30s and have had their children. And there are so many things that Reich and Daisy go through. I don't want to spoil it for you, but this series, these three series that all like go together and have all these characters in them, are so deep and beautiful. I really love Rose and Connor too, but I wanted to pick like one of the couples to really talk about. And I love Age Gap, and I love Reich, and I love Daisy. And so they're who I wanted to pick about. I know Peace Love Books loves them. She has a shirt that says Team Razy on it. But they just broke my heart. I cried for Daisy. Reich goes through some crazy stuff too. He is a free solo climber, and he gets in some pretty crazy situations with that. Again, this is the family that's dealing with like paparazzi and fame, and not some great fame. Like they're kind of like infamous, which is a lot of the reasons why like Daisy has PTSD from different things that she's had to live through. But I love this couple. This series is a bit of an investment. It took me, it took me like 3 weeks to read the whole series because I read like a maniac. But there is like 20 books total in this entire series. And they're all about different characters. But the ones about Reich and Daisy are Hot House Flower and The Long Way Down. And then the sequel book, which is Some Kind of Perfect, are like the main ones where you'll see them. But they're in all of the books, and they're awesome. So we'll just go right ahead then, and I'll talk about Pharaoh and Maximoff. So Maximoff and Pharaoh are in the sequel series to the Calloway Sisters series. And Maximoff is the son of Lily and Lauren. So he is Daisy's nephew, basically. And this series takes place like 20 years later. So Maximoff is, I think he's 23 or 24. And he gets a new bodyguard, and his name is Pharaoh. And Maximoff has had a crush on Pharaoh for a very long time because Pharaoh has been his mother's bodyguard, and then he gets reassigned to Maximoff when Maximoff's bodyguard retires. And they've always kind of had this attraction for each other for the last like 5 years. And they have to keep their relationship a secret. So this is another like secret dating situation. And I love these guys so much. There is 4 books that are specifically about them. And that is in the Billionaires and Bodyguard series. So the first 3 books and then the 6th book are about these guys. And I can't wait for future books that are about other people, but we'll have them in it. Because I love all the children of the Calloway sisters. And I can't wait for more books about them because they are awesome. I love them so much. But the reason I love this couple so much is their communication is really great. They're in some pretty dangerous situations with Maximoff's family, and like the fame that they have turns really toxic really quickly with a lot of fans, and it can get very intense. And Pharaoh has to do a lot to protect Maximoff, and the bond that these guys have and their chemistry together and their back and forth and their bickering, and then just with all the family mixed in, it is so good. Love it so much. So Pharaoh and Maximoff, definitely on my list. Okay, next, real quickly, I want to talk about Melee and Gearden, and they're from this series called, I don't know what the series is called, but the first book is called The Chase, and this is by, oh my gosh, her name just totally went out of my head. I'm so sorry. McPherson, I know is the last name, but here's a picture of it. It just went totally out of my head. I didn't write it down. But this is a self-published series. Both of them are on Kindle Unlimited, by the way. The author reached out to me, I think like a month and a half ago now. It feels like it was so long ago, but I was very interested in reading this. Melee is deaf and Gearden is a wolf. They don't like to be called werewolves, but that's what they are. So she moves to this, she starts going to school for the first time after being homeschooled most of her life. And she's able to hear this guy's voice in her head, and his name is Gearden, and he is part of a werewolf pack. And so she finds out that she is also part wolf, and she's also part, like, fae, which is really interesting. The reason these guys are my couple's goal is because of a couple things. So this is a YA series, and I really like that. There is an interesting dynamic. So this is a fated mate story, but it's slow burn, which I didn't know was possible, which it is. I know that it is, but I feel like we read a lot of fated mates where it's like insta-love because it's your mate. And so, you know, when you find the mate, it's just like, yay, whoopee, we found you. We don't got to worry about anything, but that's not true. Melee is completely overwhelmed by the fact that, you know, her family members have been lying to her about what species that she is, as well as there's a whole bunch of like other supernatural beings who are in a war that she didn't know about. But the way this story is told is so interesting. We actually get a lot of different perspectives. It's not just Gearden and Melee. But again, we're talking about the relationships here. And I really love the communication, literally, because she's never been able to like speak with someone. I mean, she uses ASL, and obviously that is speaking, you know, that's talking with your hands. But to be able to converse with someone so easily, the way she can with Gearden, it obviously connects them very quickly. But he's not that overpowering kind of fated mate, you know? Like, there are the urges that he has, and there's like his wolf who really wants to claim his mate, but the way that he's able to control that, and the way that he's able to say, no, I'm not going to pressure you into anything. I care about you and I want this to be your choice. I just love, it's so sexy. Consent is always very sexy, my friends. So sexy. And it's really good. The first two books are out, The Chase and The Hunt. I think the third one is The Kill. And I think the author said it will be out in the spring sometime. So I'm really hoping I get the arc of that. I'm sure that I will. Alana McPherson, that's her name, which you guys already know because it's sitting up here. But Alana is a follower of, like, has seen my reviews. And Alana, I love your books. Obviously, I'm talking about them again. You're the best. And I just really love this couple. And when I was making this list, I was like, I just want them on there because there's just something about them that I love. How they treat each other with respect. And a lot of times when you have these like animalistic natures thrown into books, it's an excuse to like throw out a lot of the rules of couples that should be there. And I just love that the author didn't do that. She chose to let this relationship grow. And so when things finally happen with them, it feels so earned and it's so beautiful because it wasn't rushed or, you know, just happened too quickly. So I love that. Next, I want to talk about a couple that, don't worry guys, just two more couples here. This is my birthday video. I'll talk as much as I want, okay? The next couple, I just finished reading their book today, and that is Tom and Cassandra from Chasing Cassandra by Lisa Kleypas. This is the 6th, and I believe it's the final book in the Ravenel series. At least, I don't think there'll be more since everyone in the series is married now. Like all the siblings, I think we're done. But Cassandra is the last sibling to get married. She has a twin sister, Pandora, and Cassandra is the romantic twin. They're Pandora was the one who didn't care if she got married, and she was kind of like, not forced, but like needed to marry someone because of a situation. Cassandra is the one who wants true love, and she wants to be swept off her feet and it to be romantic. And she's really sad on the day of her sister's wedding. She's happy for her sister, but she wishes that she could find that true love that she's looking for. And Tom, who we have met before because he is the railroad magnate, baron, engineering genius who has helped out our main characters in different stories before. And he overhears her talking with her uncle, and she basically asked her uncle to marry her. He's not really her uncle. He's not even, like, he's distantly, like, related to her. And sorry, I'm laughing because it's funny. Because she's just so sad that she hasn't found the right person for her. And Tom overhears this, and he jumps out and says, I'll marry you. You're beautiful. You're everything that I want. I want to marry you. And Cassandra's just kind of like, what? Because I'm pretty, that's all that you want? And so it's kind of funny. And then her uncle, her relation is like, dude, you can't. You've said you don't believe in love, and that's all Cassandra wants is love. But anyway, this meeting spurs on this back and forth tension that lasts for months. And I love that. I love that it is drawn out, because a lot of historical romances, it's a pretty quick thing. A lot of romances, and that's okay. And I don't usually like slow burn. However, the way this story is told. So Tom is a really interesting guy. He came from nothing. He clawed his way up. He's an engineering genius. He's invented a lot of things. He owns a lot of the railroads. He is very wealthy. He's good friends with Winterbourne, who Winterbourne is like the richest guy we know. And Tom is many times like more wealthy than Winterbourne even. And the next day after this weird outburst, Tom is fixing the boiler downstairs. And Cassandra wanted to give him a book that because he hasn't like read any novels before. And so she's going to bring him Around the World in 80 Days for him to read it. And so she finds him working on the boiler, and she sits down on the floor and helps him fix the boiler. And it is so cute. I was so into it. Well, immediately again, her family tries to shy her away from him, and is like, he's not the one for you. He won't love you the way that you want, blah, blah, blah. And he agrees to. He's like, I wouldn't be right for you. After talking with you, like, you're more than just pretty. You're smart and sweet, and you're a kind woman, and I wouldn't want to hurt you by not loving you the way you deserve. Right. Just marry him already. But again, like I said, so then she doesn't see him for a couple months, and she runs into him at the doctor's clinic, which one of our other characters, her name is Garrett Gibson. She's a female doctor, and she works for Winterbourne, and Tom brings this street urchin that he's taking care of to see Garrett. And he runs into Cassandra, and it's like he's realizing how deeply he likes her and is attracted to her. And so it's just, their chemistry. So they run into each other then. And then they run into each other again, and he dances with her at a ball, and they kiss for the first time, and he's just like, I can't do this. I can't see you. I can't be around you because I want you, and I want you to have more than an unfeeling person. And that's such crap, because we know he has feelings. He's just not acknowledging them. So I don't want to just keep explaining this novel to you. I'm sorry. I'll stop. But the reason I was explaining so much of it is like, this couple, their slow burn is just so good. Like, the seeds are laid so well. And when things finally culminate, when things like snap where they're like, why are we fighting this anymore? It's so satisfying, and you're so happy for them. And I love this book so much because this book doesn't have a stupid misunderstanding conflict. It is a drawn out, these two trying to understand each other and speak each other's language. I really, really love when people try to speak each other's language. And there's no stupid misunderstanding that splits them up, or, oh, you're not who I thought you were. It's so beautiful and fun. And I love Tom and I loved Cassandra, and I always am so sad how fast I read her books because now there's no more and I don't know what to do now, and it's sad. But I love Tom and Cassandra. It was great. Okay, I've been talking for too long, but we've gotten to my favorite couple so far this year. And that is Brianna and Roger Mackenzie. So yeah, I freaking love them. I've loved them even more in my rereads of the books because the first time through I was more focused on Jaime and Claire, who aren't on this list because they were on my other favorite couple list that I made. They are obviously couple goals for me, but I wanted to have someone new on here. And I love Bri. I've said this again and again in all the reviews I've done of the books, is that Bri feels the most like real to me. I relate to her more than I can relate to Claire. Like Claire's just, I don't idolize her, but she's just so far above me, like in how she handles things and in like her doctoring knowledge. And like Bri is just so real to me, and the way that she reacts to things and the way that she loves and the way that she like, you know, demands what she wants and the way that she struggles with things, I love. And I love Roger. He is a more realistic man to me, but he's still just as passionate and loving as Jaime is. And I think he gets a bad rap. I think the TV show has done him a disservice to people who haven't read the books first. They don't appreciate Roger Mac the way that I do, especially the Fiery Cross guys. I need the TV show to do Roger better than they have done before. They need to fix some of the mistakes they made, because in the Fiery Cross cements it for me. The things that Bri and Roger's marriage go through, and the friendship that Roger has with Jaime in that book, the respect that he earns, and the way that Roger loves his family, the way that he's willing to fight, the way he goes through struggles, and the way they do it together, I love. And they're not perfect. It's messy. They make mistakes, but they love each other so passionately. That's literally their motto together, is like a little, a lot, or none at all. Passionate, or a little, a lot, passionate, or not at all is like their like quote together. And I love that because they are just always. And I love as their marriage matures and grows. I can't wait to read them in 7 and 8, because 7 and 8 were the hardest books for me to read. They're also the ones I've only read once each, and I can't wait till I get to them and spend more time with them. So they're my favorite couple so far this year. Okay, I'll stop talking now. This video ended up being way longer than I thought it would, but what do I know? So this I'm hoping will be a quarterly thing. Tell me if you agree with any of these couples. What are some that you're willing to try reading now, because I've talked them up to you. Thank you so much for being such faithful viewers to me. I'm about to hit my 2 years on Booktube, which is crazy. I love you all so much. I'm sending you love from Colombia right now, and I can't wait to be back with you and talk to you all about it. Thank you so much. Have a great day.